CEN न्यूज देश प्रदेश की ताजा तरीन खबरों के लिए CEN न्यूज को सब्सक्राइब करें और रहें पल पल की खबर से हर पल बाखबर।
Though we are psychotherapists and counselors, we are first human beings, and we do go through the same kind of emotions, problems, sufferings, pain, and all I can say is it's a process that what we need to teach or to counsel, we learn ourselves first, we practice on ourselves, and then we see the difference and we see its effectiveness.
The best revenge is to get over it, never give up, and continue to succeed. Never give someone the satisfaction to watching you suffer. So today, here is with me, Miss Harjinder Kaur. She is a psychotherapist as a counselor from Thailand. So let's have a word with her and know that what should we do to lead a great gratitude and a positive life. Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
It's good to have you here. First,
For me as well. It's my pleasure too.
Firstly, I want to know that being a psycho-counselor or a psychotherapist, how do you live your life? Because you might have often feel in your life a kind of a grumpy or a melancholy thing in your life. How do you overcome with that phase?
I would say that's very true, that even though we are psychotherapists and counselors, we are first human beings, and we do go through the same kind of emotions, problems, sufferings, pain, and all I can say is it's a process that what we need to teach or to counsel, we learn ourselves first, we practice on ourselves, and then we see the difference and we see its effectiveness. And there are many therapies, as I don't know if you've heard of you. So mindfulness, CBT, there's DBT, there's TA. So there are many kinds of therapies which are very scientific based, and it has been applied all over the world on human beings, and they have been tried and tested for many years. So we follow those, and it's what I said is a process, is because we are also learning with the process of when we are counseling. There is so much to learn from our own clients, and it's a growing process, and it's a lifelong process.
Okay, what kind of situation, what kind of people are coming to you? Related issues, are there relationship issues? Are there any kind of other issues? What kind of issues you're getting most from the people to have?
Yeah, we do have, as myself also, I have a lot of diverse issues. I started off with anxiety and depression, and then now I have started taking relationship issues, marriage counseling, grief, adjustment issues. So, and I've worked with even de-addiction clients with their families, and so quite a diverse. I've worked with teenagers, I've worked with children,
How do you counsel their parents? Parents are equally involved in the matter. How do you think that parents should also need a counseling besides that patient?
Not everyone. So parents, if they are adults and all, depends. It's all, I would say, case by case. And where younger children, because I was working with the special needs kids school, so there some issues are that you need to talk to the parents, and they need to understand the difficulties of the child that is born with and how to handle those situations, because it changes the life of the parents and the relatives, and we call them as the caretakers. But otherwise, do you need to talk to all parents? No, not necessary. Especially with the adults, or some teenagers do not want to. They just want to work with their own issue by themselves. So then we do that. So our whole thing is based on the client, what is right for them, and we take it with them.
If we'll talk about the self-harming thing, where a person is in the situation where he or she harms themselves. So how to counsel those people and how to try to get out from that situation? Because that situation is to the end, that is beyond. How do you counsel them?
So we call those as the crisis interventions. So because it's a very crisis situation, it's the extreme situation, especially when it's a suicidal case. And another self-harming is when they do the cutting and those kind of harming. So these two would be different, but where suicidal is concerned is then again we have to understand whether the client is at the mental level, what is it that is really bothering, and how to the first thing comes is just to calm them, to bring them, and we call that as the little grounding, because like I think earlier when we were talking, the mind is racing, the thought process is racing, and there are so many fears and that is troubling them, like so many when they go for like examination failure, right? They fail in the exams. Oh, what's going to happen to me?
Society, that patriarchal, if we'll talk about the patriarchal society, like the society, they get a lot of traumas from their side too, so that make them feel like more anxious towards the doing bad things or to get into the depression.
I think it's more through their parents, that how will my parents face the society? I have failed my parents. So that is a guilt. We always take it in the form of emotions. There's a guilt, there's a hurt, there's shame. So when we name the emotion, then it is easier to connect. So when we connect with them, naming the emotions, finding what the emotion is troubling, and then there is like, first thing comes is the grounding, come to the moment, breathing in and relaxing, and then is like trying to, because once we get into the grounding, which we use with the mindfulness, and also understanding the difficulty that they're going through, is like we call them empathy, empathize with their difficulty, that I understand that I'm not in your place, but I'm here for you. I'm here with you. So when we try and connect so that they can put some trust in us, and then they can share their problem, and we as counselors, our work is not to tell them what to do, but it is for them to find their own way and find that courage to walk forward with it and not give up. So because they're at the time of almost leave. So again, situation by situation, case by case. So you have to be there. The first most important thing is the empathy, we call it. Empathy is not sympathy. Oh, bichara, wali baat nahi. No, nothing doing that. So we always recommend, please do not sympathize, because that is just the opposite of it. Empathizing is like understanding that you are in pain, but yet that pain is not my pain. That is your pain. And I am there standing with you to help you to come out of it. So that is empathy. And so we work with that.
Okay, can you share your anecdote, like where you have faced like hardships in your life or any kind of depression, so that people could get a full motivation, that too from you?
Yeah, sure. See, my life also, it's like along. I have had my share of difficulties. I wouldn't want to exactly say what precisely, but I can say that it was a gradual stress and we call it chronic depression, which really doesn't show outwardly, but inwardly there is a depressive state. So it is having effect on your memory and your brain working, functioning, and also physically. It does have a lot of. So I would say yes, because I've always been a meditator.
So meditation helps to get over from the depression.
It is something that you can always connect to if you believe in somebody, that there is not everybody believes in religion, not everybody wants to believe in God, so we don't have to go that way, but somebody which is some higher power,
Connection with the nature, connection with the
universe, that you can look beyond yourself, that there is something beyond my power, my energy, or somebody with the father, parents, or home. There is something bigger than that. If you can have a connection with that, then and connect and say that, okay, I need your help, asking for help, connecting with that. or somebody who is in your family, like we call that as a support system. It is very important to have somebody that you can connect to. They will help you out of those situations, and it is a gradual process. You can have dips and then you go up, but then once you start doing, there is meditation, there is mindfulness, and of course the techniques, because I practice, so those were the things that really helped me understand, oh, this is also there, understanding the realities of life, understanding the facts of life, not from the point of cultural, social, but in a bigger picture. Like we say, we are humans on the earth, and earth is just one tiny dot in the solar system. So when we look from that perspective, what is my existence? That one tiny person sitting in the earth, in the Asia, in India, in Jammu. So see how small I am, but when I'm sitting with my problems, it seems massive and I cannot handle it. But when you change the perspective and say, hey, it's just tiny, it can be handled. You can cross it over. It's just matter of it's like a wave. We call it wave. The wave will go up. When it is on the top, it feels very, very difficult. It's very scary. It's a lot of fear. But that wave has to come down. It has to be leveled. And that's how our emotions and thoughts actually are supposed to be, if we just let them be. But what we do is, when they're on the top, we hold them up, like we scaffold them. We put pillars up there to keep them up there. And that is more difficult than if you just don't do anything. They will fall and they will just go away.
Ma'am, if we'll talk about if a person is very sensitive, he's like sensitive and an overthinker person. He thinks on a very little and or minuscule things. Like, how do you counsel them? What are the tips you are going to give them so that he could get over of it? Because a person wants yaar, ye glass gir gaya, ye kyun gir gaya? The glass got broken, why? What? He used to think about it, how it happened, why I did this. How you counsel, or what are the tips that you are going to give them so that they could get over of it?
See, ek to humko pehle, we have to understand, if you go into a garden, the variety of flowers, and every petal or a flower has a different nature. Some are thick, hard petals, some are very tiny, you just touch them and then they wither. So we have to understand, even as human beings, we have that diversity, we have that variety. So what's wrong with that? Nothing wrong. First, we have to think there's nothing wrong to be sensitive. I am that, you can say, ek variety hai. Some people, the emotions are even muscles, we talk about. Some people can run faster, some people can carry heavier weights and the others cannot. So do you say that you are a bad human being, or you are an incapable, or you are something wrong with you? No, it's not. It's just that you are that type. First is that acceptance of yourself. And be there. It's okay. If the world thinks you are too sensitive, it's their problem, not your problem. Okay, so this is very important to have that. Oh, because they're being told that you're too sensitive because the other people are not. But trust me, majority of the people will have that, the sensitivity. Yes, some are good in hiding it, some are not. So it's okay, accept yourself. We are in a garden, we are in a variety of different kinds of people, and everybody has their different capability, ability, and we must accept ourselves as we are. Sensitive hai to kya ho gaya? If you can accept the others should be able to accept you. If they don't, I would say it's their problem. So sensitivity is nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with being sensitive. Just acknowledge yourself, accept yourself, and live with it. Even if you go to buy a car and all, there's so many models. So you just know which, you have a Benz, or you have an Audi, or you have a Toyota or a Maruti. You know what your car is and you drive that way. Simple.
Ma'am, at last, I want to ask you, will you please share some of positive things that a person should do, some tips so that a person should do, so that he will think every time positivity and gratitude and solitude will come in his mind, rather than keeping or shrinking, that negative thoughts will get erased. So at least, what should we do? to bring that gratitude and positivity in our lives?
So let me first shatter the concept of positivity. Okay, we do have these concepts of be positive, but a person who is in an emotional, sensitive situation, is in a down, cannot be positive, because that's that person's. So we don't go with we don't go playing with these cards of positivity, and so I shatter that. Okay, I don't use being positive. It's just be yourself. Is acceptance of yourself. Yes, I am sad. So, like you said, that not
How to encourage that sad, because that sadness can lead that person to get into the trauma.
Let me give you this. No, it doesn't lead you to a trauma. The thing is, like when you said, I do not want to give the other person a satisfaction to see me sad, but sadness is a part and parcel of me as humans. Okay, all these emotions, if we are happy, there is another side of it. It's a flip side of those coins. And sadness, fear, anxiety, stress, we want to run away from them. We don't want to even have them, but the reality is they are. No, and why are they? You have to understand these. They are actually my army. People, like if we think that, oh, I shouldn't be angry, but this is my army. This is what is protecting me in my base, in my existence, in my survival. But yes, there are these, like I have blood sugar. All right. So if it is within parameters, it's perfectly fine. It is my helpful, element. But when it goes up, I work towards bringing it down. I do not work towards eliminating the sugar in my blood. Similarly, these negative emotions are a part and parcel of me, and I must have some. I must have some stress. Otherwise, I will never work hard. I must have some anxiety. I must have some fear. So if I try to run away from them, it's a fight with our brains, and that brain doesn't like it. Okay, so then it becomes that cycle of the thoughts. Brain says, I need it. You say, no, I don't need it. So you start fighting with your brain. So here the requirement is to accept and acknowledge that, yes, this time I'm feeling very angry. Like I mentioned, it's a wave. So I'm angry, I sit with that. Now this is where that mindfulness comes in. And I need to accept myself. At this moment, I'm angry. I need to do is breathe in, breathe out. I need to do some grounding exercises or the other techniques. Acknowledge I'm angry, sit, and sit back. Don't do anything. Don't react or don't respond in that, because in that way you're just going to I would say damage anything. That here is step back, stay with it. I'm angry, I need to ride the wave. It will fall by itself. When it does, then I'll do what I have to do. So, but if I say I should never be angry, that is, yes, it's not a reality. It is not our human existence reality. Only, yes, when we talk about the saints and a lot of meditations and things like that, there also they fail with these emotions, because they are integral part of us as a human mechanism. We need to acknowledge that. We need to work with it. We need to walk with it. That is what we need to learn. And in that, when we do that, we become stronger. And we can actually carry more. Like it's like strengthening our muscle.
At the end, ma'am,
Do you agree with that? I can understand, because I shatter that part of that positivity, you see, because everybody wants to be, I need to be positive, I need to be positive. And you know how difficult it is?
yeah, because there is phase of everything. In sadness, it depends upon you how you are counseling your mind, how you are making your mind stupid. Like, no, it's fine, I'm fine, I'm blessed with the other things too. The phase comes, it's fine, I'm okay with it. I'll manage. Tomorrow it will be a good day, it will be a bright day, right? Any tip, anything you want to say to the people who are watching us?
The most important tip I would say is learn your emotions and please accept them. Usually in our, I would say human population, we don't even know what our emotions are. Other than, if I ask you, how are you feeling? What would you say?
Absolutely fine.
Fine. Fine is no emotion. and that's a mask that we walk with. Yes, we walk with other people, then in society is okay, but if you ask yourself only, how am I feeling, I'm fine, that has no relevance. Either I'm calm, I'm at peace, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm little edgy, I'm little irritated, I'm little frustrated. We need to learn our emotions vocabulary, because when I accept and see my own emotions, that is the time the brain settles down. It's like a baby, the child is asking for little attention. Hey, I'm hurt, just give me a hug, just say, oh, you are hurt, and then it will be fine. So that's all we need to do. So first thing is like, acknowledge your emotions, don't run away from it. I understand in our societies we have been taught, don't think too much about your emotions, don't indulge yourself, just don't think about it, divert your attention. Normally, usually, yes, we can, our brains can do it, but when you are actually in a deeper situation or an intense emotion, it's the most difficult thing to do. In those cases, it's helpful. So we need to do is, when we are normal, we need to learn. We need to practice at the time. It's like, we do not learn lessons either in a war or in a tempest. We learn our lessons when it is calm. So we need to learn about our emotions and thoughts when we are in a normal phase, so that when we are in those difficult emotional states or difficult life situations, we know how to pass through it. So that's the main thing I would say. It's very important to know your emotions. And then, so that we say we need to declutter, we need to detox. What we eat, we need to cleanse. So same thing needs to go for the emotions as well.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your ways. So this was with me, Miss Harjinder Kaur, a psychotherapist and a counselor from Thailand. And it was offered today. Stay connected with CN News of now.
Though we are psychotherapists and counselors, we are first human beings, and we do go through the same kind of emotions, problems, sufferings, pain, and all I can say is it's a process that what we need to teach or to counsel, we learn ourselves first, we practice on ourselves, and then we see the difference and we see its effectiveness.